correct?
Or do we want town managers report?
Oh,
we
town
can't.
managers report.
You always forget about town manager.
I almost got away.
All right, town managers report.
It's a nice long one.
Colin,
It is.
take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was happy to attend Tyngsborough High's 2024 graduation exercises on June 7th, along with Select Board members Eldridge, Schneider, and Gilfus. I was incredibly impressed by the caliber of graduates, and many of their comments and remarks were comforting. The future is clearly bright. Congratulations to all. The Tyngsborough Police Department was awarded a $20,000 grant from the Commonwealth to replace an older electronic fingerprint scanner that is used for booking and was originally purchased by that same grant in 2015. We were originally planning for this to be a future capital request, but as is standard, the PD sought external grants before adding it to their capital plan. The grant covers the purchase and delivery of the cabinet scanner with printer, computer, keyboard, as well as the installation, training, and a 1-year warranty. The new scanner will be in service by the end of next month. I would like to thank the BAPS organization out of Lowell for hosting Chief Howe and I at their annual charity walk on Saturday, June 8th. This year, they donated proceeds to the Tyngsborough Police Department. The BAPS organization is a religious and charitable organization that does philanthropy and service across the world. They are currently in the design phases of a substantial new construction for a new temple on Westford Road at 50 Westford Road, and we are excited to welcome them to the community once that facility is built. The Lowell Regional Transit Authority is running free bus service on all of their routes for the month of July. This includes the Route 10 bus, which has stops in Tyngsborough, Dracut, and Hudson. There's more information about all of the different routes at LRTA.com. I'm excited to share that the Town Manager's Office and Media Department are working on launching the town's first Citizen Academy. The program will start in September and will be a 6-week program that will introduce interested residents to the intricacies of town government. The goal here is to get more residents involved in local government by breaking down barriers and bringing more of our residents into the fold. We'll formally announce the program in early July, and we'll seek applications at that time. The Tyngsborough Public Library kicked off their 2024 Summer Reading Challenge. The challenge runs from June 15th to August 5th. You can learn more at tinglib.org/summer-reading. Remember that the Tyngsborough Public Library has a lot going on this summer and is a great resource for families looking to do something during the summer vacation. We have seen an increase in the use of our recycling center at the Highway Department. Unfortunately, along with that increase, we've seen isolated instances of the drop-off site being used inappropriately. Last week, we saw cardboard left all over the parking lot when the cardboard dumpster was full. There were oil containers left next to that dumpster and other items that were not acceptable in the scrap metal bin. Our Highway Department was fortunately able to address these items, but repeated misuse of the site will force us to reconsider access. That's simply a cost thing. Anytime we have contaminated bins or toters, it costs the town money, and eventually the relationship with these vendors may make it a little more prohibitive for us to get involved. I'd like to thank District Attorney Marion Ryan for coming to the Council on Aging last week to talk to our aging community about common scams and ways to avoid them. There was a great crowd in attendance, and the information was very helpful. She left behind a bunch of literature that we've shared with patrons at the Council on Aging, and we've pushed some of that out through the newsletter and our website. On that same note, I'd like to congratulate Council on Aging Director Barbara Roach on completing a person-centered case management certificate program through the BU School of Social Work. Barbara is one of, I think, now 13 certified COA directors in the Commonwealth, and as a part of maintaining that certification, has to complete certain credits in coursework. A couple procurement updates. There's an RFP out right now for interested individuals looking to use the Hunter Norton property for certain agricultural uses. The Conservation Commission brought this project forward as a way to get a passive use on the site while maintaining access. Proposals for that are due on June 26th at 10 a.m. We're seeking sealed bids for the bituminous concrete for the Highway Department. This item is typically part of our annual highway goods and services procurement, but the last vendor was unable to honor their optional year 2 prices, so the procurement laws required that we rebid it. As a reminder, we're still seeking sealed bids on the Sherburne Ave Rec Center. The amenities, that property that was donated by the Toll Brothers. We had an optional site visit last week, and bids are due on Wednesday at 10 a.m. We've reviewed the final design for the new pavilion on the Sherburne Ave Rec Center last week, and we're preparing those bid docs to be available beginning on July 3rd, with bids due on July 17th. Logistically, we're likely issuing 2 separate bids for that project, one for the concrete and footing work and one for the actual construction of the pavilion. The reason for this is simple. We likely have the funds available to do at least the concrete work now. We've applied for a $400,000 a housing choice grant, which we're hoping to use to offset the cost of actually constructing the pavilion. But we'd like to get as much done as we can with the current bucket of money. So if the pricing is good, we'll award a contract for the footings, and then once the money's available, issue another IFB for the construction. Last week, we had a meeting between town hall staff, including our superintendent of public works and police chief, with a new gaming facility that's being constructed at the Pheasant Lane Mall. We had a very productive conversation about the improvements that they're planning on making to the parking lot, as well as their most recent security plan and ways that they can be good partners with the police department. You may remember that as a part of them getting their permits from Nashua, they were required to get the Tyngsborough police chief to sign off on their security plan. He made several requests of them. They followed through with all of those requests, and they have an approved security plan. They are aiming to open by January. On Thursday, I'll be at Suffolk University for the graduation of the latest round of the Suffolk MMA Municipal Management Certificate Program, which our very own media director, Roni Camille, recently completed. The program is a joint effort by the Mass Municipal Association and Suffolk University to help public sector employees hone in on their management and leadership skills, and we are proud of Roni for participating in the 22nd round of this program. And then finally, just a reminder to mark your calendars for the 2024 Party by the Bridge, which promises to be bigger and better than ever. It will happen on Saturday, August 24th at 11 a.m. in the town center. You can learn more at tyngsboroughma.gov. We've changed the fee structure for the event this year. In the past, you paid for parking. It's incredibly hard to keep track of. The spots turn over all the time. It's important to note that nothing from the operating budget supports the block party. That's through revenues from other block parties. And so this year there's a $5 admission charge for everyone older than 12. Children to 12 years old will still get in for free. All of that money stays within the rec department. I just wanted to make that clear. None of that comes back to the operating budget. They use that for future events like Festival of Trees and the block party. I said a lot, and that is all that I have.
That was quite a bit. So I will open that up for questions and comments from the board, starting with Select Person Gilfus.
Very thorough. I am participating in the library reading challenge.
Ooh.
It's awesome. If you don't have the Beanstack app, highly recommend downloading it. That's where you participate in the challenges. No questions, just enthusiasm.
Excellent. Select Person Cohane.
So, as our town manager said, we applied for a $400,000 grant through the housing grant. That was only possible because this community, and I would applaud this community again for passing the MBTA warrant article at the last town meeting. So this just opens up for us to be able to apply for a lot of grants, and there's the communities that did not support MBTA will not be able to apply for those particular grants. I would like to talk a little bit about the recycling center. I mean, I have heard so many great comments about the recycling center. You know, they just added, the scrap metal, bin. And that thing is full constantly. Residents have really looked at that. It's a way of getting rid of some really heavy, heavy pieces. Instead of going into your garbage, it goes into the scrap metal bin, and we actually get money for that. There's also a textile bin over there, a cardboard bin, and they just added a food waste. We have composting, but with this you can add meat, like oranges and citrus elements in there. Every time I go by, I look and I usually see a car in there. It's really been well used. And it would just be a shame if a few residents do not respect all of our residents in this town and are doing things that is very obvious. When you go into that site, it's very obvious what you can do, and leaving just oil containers around is just rude. So please, everybody, follow the rules. Let's this continue to be a great resource for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate that. Select Person Schneider.
I have no questions. That was a great report, Colin. Thank you.
Yeah, it's fantastic as always. I think this is great. I do think that people should understand that bituminous concrete is asphalt.
Yes.
Just wanted to make sure that people
I think
understood.
everyone at home
I
knew
had to
that.
I had to look it up. It was one of those things. I'm like, what is bituminous concrete? It's
That's shorthand, yeah.
That's
That's
the
common.
asphalt that we use for the roads. No, I think this is fantastic. Lots of great stuff happening. Good look back on some things that have already happened and some things that are upcoming. That is fantastic as always. For those that may have missed this, or you want to see it in a more condensed version, it's on social media. Perhaps there might even be a podcast
There
at
might.
some point on some of these things, so please pay attention. There's a lot of things that are happening, and I get people that will ask me, like, when's this happening, or whatever, and it's like, you didn't pay attention to Colin's report.
Shameful.
You would have
Always
had
there.
everything that you need. So I encourage residents to look on that. Thank you again.
It's on multiple venues now too, right?
Anywhere you get your podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. You can sign up for alerts on the town's website. I could go on all day. You have to choose to intentionally ignore these updates.
I
That's
agree.
how accessible it is.
That was my point.
I do look forward to seeing how you're going to capture this very long
Tough,
report
I know.
in one snapshot.
Thank you, Jackie, for understanding my struggle.
There's a lot to cover there. It's just one slide, so
Yep.
tomorrow, we'll see it.
Excellent, okay.